All right, we're driving to the city today. Oh, look, Ma, no hands. This is the first in a series of 10 videos. This is gonna be like your marketing course. As a photographer, really as a small business owner, even if you're not an actual photographer, if you're a creative of any kind, this next 10 weeks that I'm doing for you, buckle down, you are gonna learn some stuff, let me tell you. Leave your butts at the door. And I don't mean your derriere, I mean your rebuttals. Your job is not to search for what you can't do. Your job is to find what you can do. I need you in the comments of these videos to tell me what you're doing, what's working for you, and tell me when it's not working for you, because I'm gonna read these comments, get in there with you, and give you other suggestions when things that I've said aren't working for you. So we're gonna do this together. Let's go. So 5 wedding rules that you probably don't know about. Number 1, know when to shut up. I've had a lot of assistants or second shooters, they just didn't know when to shut up, and it became awkward because they just kept talking and everything was like, ooh and ah, and it's beautiful, and oh my gosh, and it's like, read the room. Don't suggest photo ideas, lighting, poses, anything like that to the main photographer while you are in front of the client. All right, the second wedding rule is gonna help you whenever you're working with other human beings. You have to understand their style. Now, for me, it's all about weddings. So my goal is to understand their relationship style. And I only figured this out because I wildly failed at it once. I was shooting an engagement session, and the whole engagement session, they were like kind of stiff. I wasn't really getting to them. And then the last 10 minutes, naturally, of the engagement session, it's like I finally found them and finally found who they were. And I turned to my assistant afterwards. I said, you know what, Shay? That was my fault. And it was my fault. I realized I didn't take the time to get to know them ahead of time. And don't get me wrong here. I am not to have 16 dinners with my couples before I shoot their wedding, and I know a lot of photographers are like that, and that's great. But there are ways that you can get to know your clients very simply. I send them a 5-question survey. That's a week or 2 before our shoot. I say, what's your typical date night look like? Tell me something that you like about your spouse or your significant other. What side of your relationship do you want to capture? Since then, I am so much better at pulling emotion and pulling the right kind of relationship style out of my clients. As photographers, you know, we have a style, and sometimes we perceive our clients as being one thing or the other, but it's no good if your couple is fun and quirky and you're trying to get them in like romantic poses. I don't care how good of poses you are, if they are naturally more of a fun-loving, wild couple and you're trying to get them in these like soft, you know, sensual moments together, it's just not going to look natural. It might even look natural, but then when they look at the photos later, they're going to look at them and not connect to them because that's not them. It's not their relationship style. That is a huge rule for me. You have to know your couple's style. Rule number 3, repeatedly ask your clients what they want. This is huge, and the reason I know about this, I'm going to tell you story number 2, is a recent wedding that I photographed, and I just failed miserably at getting a specific photo that the bride wanted. Now, granted, I didn't know she wanted it, and I did a similar photo, but with a different pose variation. It just wasn't what she wanted, and you know what? Ultimately, that kind of thing could have been avoided if, you know, obviously, 1, she would have told me what she wanted, but 2, if I had just kept asking, hey, is there anything else you want? Is there a specific type of pose? Even on the job, I sent all those questionnaires, special shot request lists, but communicating during the shoot and continually asking will save you a ton of aggravation and guilt and sleepless nights over the fact that I can't create this shot that this poor bride just wants so badly. Tell me in the comments, I want to know if you have ever missed a shot on a job, and tell me what it was. Tell me how you rectified the situation with your client. With weddings, I can't rectify it by shooting it again, but I'm trying to rectify it by, you know, going above and beyond, just anything I can do to make up for it. And really, last I left it was, you know, what can I do? Like, tell me what I can do. But you guys, tell me in the comments. I want to know if you've ever missed a shot on a shoot and how you rectified that situation. All right, number 4, and don't shoot the messenger. You need to dress better on jobs. I'm not saying every job, depending on what type of photography you're doing, you know, you need to be comfortable, you need to be in durable gear. But if you're shooting events, weddings, You need to step up how you look. I hated this when I first started. I was like, no, but this is not my brand. My brand is like bright and colorful. Why are you making me wear all black at these weddings? And I actually got in fights with maitre d's at wedding halls in front of the mother of the bride about what I was wearing. Embarrassing. You know what? Just dress nicer, all right? And I know it can be hard, especially for us ladies with, you know, the types of shoes that we wear and things like that, but just dress a step ahead, because think about this. Every other person at that event is a potential client. So when you are shooting an event, it's like a first interview with a potential client. It's like a consultation. It's the first time they've seen you work. They may have an event coming up. So dress more appropriately, dress 50% better than you think you're supposed to, because, you know, quite frankly, by the end of the day, we look 300% more crappy because we've really been through it by the end of an event. Just a side note, by the way, guys, about shoes. People ask me this all the time, but for all day weddings, the key is not which shoe is perfect. The key is having multiple shoes. That brings me to my fifth point, though, that your goal at a wedding or any job is to play up to everyone. One of the most annoying things to me is when like grandma's on the dance floor and I've been photographing it for the past 15 minutes and the guests come up like, that's the bride's grandma! Did you photograph that yet? But the truth is, you have to play to everyone. You have to be like, yes, oh my gosh, isn't this amazing? Maybe not that totally campy and cheesy, but those people, like we were saying about, you know, dressing up, like that's your next client. That's your mini interview, especially with like bridal party and family members. They are going to remember how you were during those annoying family photos, during, you know, when the whole entire bridal party is drunk, they will remember how you are. Smile. Play to everyone, because they are all watching you and they're going to remember this when it's time for them to hire a photographer. All right, so that's 5 wedding rules that you didn't know about. They actually aren't even wedding rules. They're just kind of photography rules, professional rules. So much of what we do as photographers and why we succeed or why we don't has to do with how you're perceived as a human being. So over the next 9 weeks, we're gonna talk about things like how to find your first client, how to start a wedding photography business from scratch, networking, marketing. We've got tons. I've got tons of stuff for you and lots of guest appearances. So you're not just hearing from me, you're hearing from other photographers and other genres outside of weddings. So I'm excited. Join me for the ride, quite literally. We'll be walking through New York City. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me on this 10-week marketing course here on Adorama TV. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss a thing. Don't forget to leave comments. Tell me how these things are working for you or aren't working for you, and I will do my best to answer them, give you new suggestions, and really follow along this entire course. So leave the comments, hold the hate, because quite frankly, you're somebody that I don't know, and you're taking shots at me like it's Patron. I ain't trying to mess with your self-expression, but I learned a lesson that stressing and obsessing about somebody else is no fun. Uh-oh.